All right, good afternoon, everyone. I'm John Waddell, and I'm here with Charles Nutter today. He's been working on a new language called Mirah, which I've been working with.
On the web side, Dubious is a little framework that's written pretty much all in Mirah, but doesn't have the dependencies on a runtime library, other than a few little things that it ships with. Doesn't have a language runtime that it requires, and it runs really fast because it compiles everything to Java code. So let's make this bigger so you can see. All right, so here we go. Again, like we did with Mirah, we like Ruby syntax, we like the way it feels. Let's start from there. Woody decided he likes the way Rails applications are laid out, the way they're structured. Let's start with that and see if we can actually do the entire application in Mirah instead of doing Rails. Let's take a look at a controller here. Contacts is the good one here. Contacts controller.
It might be easier to browse the actual app.
You have the generated Java code in there too, right? All right. So what was it? Dubious demo.appspot.com. All right, here we go. He even sort of copied the Rails front page. Isn't that adorable? Okay, so here's our app structure. And now in here, we can take a look at our contacts controller. Even got syntax highlighting. And largely, again, it looks like Ruby. It looks like you're writing a Rails application. Index, show, new, etc. We got some of these things. What are these curious things down at the bottom? Looks like they're pulling out some templates of some kind, right? And what do those do? Let's go back and take a look. Now, like I say, this all can compile straight down to Java source if you like. You can go to JVM bytecode, but you can also compile it to Java source. If you take contacts controller and turn it into Java source, this is what you get out. So we've got our index logic. It's actually pulling out a data model here. If we go down and see the different ERBs that were pulled in, the different templates, it's done all of the inclusion of that into this controller, done all the extra logic of turning it into string appends, string buffer appends, string builder appends. And this is essentially all you really need out of this application. But this is the only dependencies you have, other than the Google AppEngine stuff that it's running with. You've taken what looks exactly like a Rails app and feels almost as nice as building a Rails app and compiled it straight down to Java source or JVM bytecode. That's the goal with Mirah.
Okay, and actually, if you don't mind, just bring back that browser you had.
Yeah, sure.
So this app is entirely written in Mirah. There is no Ruby in it whatsoever. The advantage to doing this is that the app spins up in about a second. Java AppEngine now supports AppYAML. In order to configure the app, I just modify this AppYAML file. So the app itself has this little properties window that I can see what's going on. The controller that we were looking at is actually this. I'm just basically copying a scaffold generation. I don't need to fill this whole thing out. You can generate an app that looks just like your scaffold, and in this case, I've decided to use unobtrusive JavaScript, and so that's how that works. Now, Charlie showed the app earlier, how we had a controller. The views associated with that are here. I have an edit form, and in this case, I basically looked at what would the Rails scaffold generated file look like and just try it. Just start with whatever Rails is using and then make changes in order to make it work. If I go back to the framework file itself, I have this params object. Down at the bottom here, I have this delete method. Sometimes you want to pass in an ID because you don't have it in the URL. I can generate this Java-style overloaded method chain. We wanted to create something that looked a little bit like data mapper, so my model really is just this. I have a property keyword, I specify the names of the attributes, and I specify which types they are. And you'll see here I'm using AppEngine types like postal address and phone number. I also need to have those things imported, so that's what those two import statements do. Now, when I compile that, Ryan Brown's done some great work to create everything I need to access. So instead of going through data nucleus, he's just creating the methods I need based on the attributes that I defined, or the properties I defined. So if you scroll down here and notice he's got some methods where he's handling how to get a hash map of properties, or possibly set the properties, and he's generated all of this code for me. So now I don't worry about type safety. I just do something that feels like I would do with Data Mapper or Active Record, I suppose, and it's handled. All right. Well, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Charles Nutter.
Thanks.